Remember Dragon Sisters, Demolition Girl, and Zombie Attack? I've covered these 3 games already, and they are all part of the very long series of games in Japan called Simple 2000 series for the PlayStation 2. Since I have more of those, I will cover the next one, Simple 2000 series volume 64, the Splatter Action, or in Europe it's simply called Splatter Master, and no, North America got nothing. This game was developed by Vincent Toon Systems, yes, Japanese developers, published by D3 Publisher in 2004. These guys made a lot of Simple 2000 games, and published by 505 Games in Europe in 2005, that have localized many Simple 2000 games in Europe. You are a scarecrow. Oh yeah, I am not joking. You technically play as a scarecrow that was brought to life by a secret magic art released by an evil sorcerer called Jagod. This secret art turned animals and even objects into evil living beings and allowed Jagod to take over a village pretty quickly. But that secret art also affected you. However, since you love the old people that have been running their farm and took good care of you, even though you were just a scarecrow, you decided to take matters into your own hands and defeat Jagod. But sure, the scarecrow now looks more like a kid with a pumpkin over his head, but as a nice touch, when you stay still for a while, the character acts like the scarecrow he actually is. And you just need to look at some footage to understand how this game pays some kind of homage to some of the greatest splatter or horror movies of all time from the, let's say, Silver Age of cinema. Or maybe Bronze Age. Well, you decide. You have to go through 7 stages total, followed by a final boss. Each stage is filled by these black things, whatever the hell they are, called Vikings. These black bats that are really annoying to hit, these weird birds and some other enemies. Each stage has a final boss that you have to defeat on top of it, and technically that's the whole game. Well, there's a bit more to the game than this, but I will get to that. So you run around and defeat whatever it is in your way, and don't think that you can run away, because you can't. The screen will move with you until you've reached the next arena, let's say. The screen locks itself on that arena and you are forced to defeat everybody. And this will be highly challenging on the hard difficulty, but I am fine with it. And honestly, this was more fun than expected. But then again, I also had fun with Demolition Girl, Dragon Sisters, and even Zombie Attack, so yeah, I am not that picky anyway. I would even say that this game may be very adequate if you are one of those people that only play horror games or Halloween themed games during the Halloween season. It simply fits that time, I guess. But as you can see, I don't care about those seasons, so well, here we are. You just have 2 types of attacks here. If you press square, then the character punches. Press it fast and multiple times, then it does a combo. Press X to jump around, and press R1 and L1 together to change into your 2 chainsaws. Press L1 and R1 again to go back to normal, unless this bar goes to 0. Yes, this is your fuel meter, right under your energy meter, and you will need fuel to be able to use your chainsaws. Throughout the stages, you will find boxes and stuff that may have health or fuel inside them for you to replenish your meters. But mind you, sometimes these boxes are empty, so no, don't you dare think that this game is easy. Well, on the easy difficulty, it is. On medium, it's challenging in the later levels, because there will be a few more enemies walking around and spawning. On hard, there will be even more enemies spawning and a bit less health as well fuel inside boxes, and that's exactly why this game isn't a cakewalk. In terms of difficulty, it reminded me of Dragon Sisters again, if you want to unlock everything that is. But hey, the controls work fine. They can be slightly clunky at times, but maybe that's just me because I tend to press the buttons a bit too fast sometimes. On stage 2 you will have access to this shop with a normal human chick inside it, which stands out immediately, and you can buy stuff like increasing your health and fuel meters, buy the ability to double jump, weirdly enough, also the ability to defend yourself, which is well, weird. This puppet that gives you an extra life, and this mask that increases your defense by a tiny bit and makes your chainsaws more powerful. That's why you should collect as many coins as you can. However, if you get to stage 7, you won't be able to access the shop anymore, so anything you want to buy has to be done before stage 7. So yeah, it's a bit worthless to get coins at all on stage 7. And if you don't know this trick, you will never be able to get 5,000 coins to get this mask, so here is what you do. Assemble as many enemies as you can, and then chainsaw their ass into oblivion to create a so-called splash bonus. The higher it is, the more coins you will get, and this is the only way to get enough to buy the mask before stage 7. Why do I emphasize this? Well, it's simple. You will need the mask to unlock the true ending. Not necessarily the good ending. True ending. So you have two endings here. The normal one that you get after defeating Jagod and you return to your scarecrow self, which is kind of a nice ending actually. I mean, after all, your job is done, right? And then the second ending, the true ending, where you turn into a real boy and go back to the farmers that took care of you. You need to play the game on the normal difficulty and collect at least 5,000 coins to buy the mask before the beginning of stage 7. Then defeat the final boss and the ending will be the normal one. However, you will unlock the true ending, and to see that, you have to play the game on the normal difficulty again. This time though, you can buy whatever you want, so you don't need the mask. However, you need to beat the boss on stage 6 while using your chainsaws. Once that's done, this green stone will appear, defeat the final boss, and you will see the true ending, with a new ending as well. You will also unlock a new costume, which is you as a boy. Everything will be the same, but you just have, well, a new skin. On top of it, you unlock the survival mode. Here you simply have to defeat everybody in the upcoming 100 meters. Do the first 100 meters, then you can replenish your health a bit, just a bit though, and move towards 200 meters. Repeat and see how far you can go. There is a third skin and two new option settings, but I will let you figure out how to unlock them without cheating. And no, it's not easy at all. So, of course, this is a low budget game, but visually it looks quite nice. Heck, simple 2000 games tend to look quite nice for what they are at least. Just look at Splatter Master, Demolition Girl, Dragon Sisters, and even Zombie Attack. In the case of Splatter Master, I quite like the kind of grainy colors that fit the aesthetic of this game quite well, accompanied by the different themes of each stage and the final bosses that are mostly things. Even a whole burger restaurant. And this is the only boss that cannot be directly damaged by you. You need to throw the burgers back at the restaurant. Kind of fun. Similar goes for this train, and this moon is probably the hardest boss in the game, even harder than the final boss I think, until you find a way to exploit its weakness and barely get damage. Sound? Well, okay, just listen to it. Lastly, you have probably noticed how the game is pretty bloody and you can literally split enemies apart. But don't take it too seriously, this is simply Halloween fun where even kids can participate and play. Because if this were a game for adults and actual AAA, then it would give Mortal Kombat some serious competition despite it being a different genre. But hey, if you think the red blood is still too much, in the options you can change the blood to green. Before starting a game, don't forget to go to the options and change the difficulty as well, and remember that you can only save the game if you die on a stage and go back to the main menu. Yeah, it's really weird how you have to die and not continue to be able to save your game, but whatever. Seriously though, some of these low-budget simple 2000 games are actually a lot of fun, and there's a reason why a select few could spawn a whole franchise and grow out of the simple 2000 label. Splatter Master sadly isn't one of those franchises, but I think it actually had the potential to do that. The controls are simple and actually quite fine. Visually it looks nice, blood all over the place, which is always a good thing, it's challenging, and overall it's one of the better games of the whole series, I would say. The E3 publisher, of course, is still alive and mainly working on the Earth Defense Force series, a franchise that still is going strong today, but I think they should also go back to these low budget games as well, because they were weird, crazy, fun. Yeah, sometimes they were trash, but just make this simple 3000 series or something for the Nintendo and all is good.